Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. This is just a very quick update because my last video, I right after I was done, I received a channeling from Ashian, and it's just a continuation of the last video. It just kind of continues, and obviously it's very specific. It's directed to um, those individuals that just understand a little more, that they're older souls and they understand things. But let's just get to it because it's not going to be a long video. Um, so Ashian says in the channeling. So the way the channeling happened, let me just explain something here. I like drawing it out because it's just I can see it linear a little better to explain. But he was I just think of yourself as your it's your body, right? It's your body, and then it's it's what you see, right? It's a visual thing. So there's a special place you go. You're in the higher dimensions. You are able to, once you reach the fifth dimension, at least at a certain level, where then you can just make that connection, right? You're meeting halfway. We've talked about this. You raise your frequency and you meet halfway. So what I saw, the way that it was presented to me, so that I understand, was that he was thinking in Pleiadian, and they think very fast. Their thinking process is just, they're all over the place. And it made sense. And then it felt like then he kind of toned it down a bit and brought it to a layer here, and then it came to it was just distilled to a place where I'd understood what he meant and what he said, which was here, which is just complete. It was controllable. It's under control, where I understood what he said, and then the channeling came through. So why do I say this? Because sometimes, and it's my way of explaining this, is um, it's the I'm trying to overthink this a little too much. When you're receiving a channeling, you are there's a brief pause between the connection you have with the higher being, right? More advanced person here, right? Uh, and you have to. There's a brief pause in between where there's just seems to be like it, you know, you're sending the message, but it has to get to you. It needs to be translated, and it needs to be put in a wording phrase that you understand, and then it comes in through you, and your vocabulary has to match what is available for you to receive. So if Neil deGrasse Tyson received a channeling, I would want to listen to know, because his understanding and just how smart he is, he's able to receive more and interpret more outwardly, and about uh, we would know more about that, right? The information that's coming in to him. So there's a brief pause, and this is when you really got to let yourself go. You have to relax. You have to let that come to you. So when this channeling happened, um, this is my short video actually. So when the channeling happened, it was I was just calm. I was watching something on YouTube, and it's just he's like, here I am," and he started talking. I felt his Pleiadian conversation come through. There was that, and then there was his. It's just like a middle ground somewhere where it's just like, okay, what's the theme? What is he talking about? What does he want to say? You can say that I was a visitor in his mind, and as he was thinking through, I was just there watching him think it through. Like you're watching someone have a conversation with themselves, and you just happen to be there, and you don't even have to say anything, but it just kind of helps the conversation for the individuals is thinking out loud, and then they're just like, "I got it. You helped me. Yeah, thanks." And you practically didn't say or do anything. You were just standing there for him. In that case, if we've all experienced this, so that's how I'm interpreting this for you to understand how I felt as a visitor for him. He knew what he had to say, and then that second phase here was it's a higher different thing, right? For him. And then there's the bottom part where I was like, I got it. I can do this. I got, and I wrote it down because it made sense then to write it down at that moment, right? This was last night, and I was gonna be, I would be able to make a video. I just didn't, wasn't, I don't know, it just wouldn't, the time and everything just wasn't right for me to go on and blurt this out because it's important enough to merit its own video and just take the time out where I would spend another 15 minutes with this, right, for you guys. So it's better, the quality is better than just dishing out stuff like that. So he says we are genetically connected. So we're also connected with many people, and this is just the way the Ashian was talking about that kind of connection, right? The way that he was talking about that connection branches out with him, myself, for example, and then it branches out with a whole bunch of other people there as well that are in a position for them to sway certain things, certain scenarios to go in the direction where they need to go. So he's realizing that there's someone that needs to hear what he has to say. And then he started by saying we're genetically connected, meaning that we do have some ancestry in the, it could be maybe Lyran Pleiadian, um, Lyran Pleiadian genetic connection, Lyran Pleiadian human. It could be that part, but it's probably more like here in this section where he's Lyran Pleiadian human being, like descending down onto planet Earth in that sense, right? So he says, so then see, this is, I wrote this and I did the channeling. You're getting information and you're writing it down, but you're not consciously knowing what you're writing down. And you have to let go. You have to let your ego go. You have to just let that part of you write down what it needs to write down and take a pause and relax and let the energy come in so you can interpret it as best as you can and as best as your language allows you to, right? So that's it's a very thin line, right? It's very thin, and your ego can get in there, and it could put words and stuff that, depending on your bias, if it's religious or if it's mechanical or if it's somewhere with physics where you would disagree with what you're hearing or what you're knowing is truth, and you're just having this internal battle, then you will put in words and scenarios that fit for your description of the channeling and not necessarily the unadulterated part of it. So I do very little channeling. I don't do the part where just you can go on for hours, then you might find out that you're just kind of thinking with yourself, right? Like you're not actually making that connection because there is a pause as you're dictating stuff, because you need to come back into your consciousness just well enough that you can write things down and at the same time remember what was just told to you. So if you think that you're going to do a sentence and then read the sentence and start the next sentence and then say, oh, okay, and then read sentence one, sentence two, sentence three, and it's, you need to just write it. And then later on, like I just only saw this today. I skimmed through it yesterday, but I last night, but I'm only just reading it now. So this is just as new as it's to you as it is to me, right? So what's wrong with this thing, right? So let's just get to it, right? Ashian, he says we're genetically connected. Explain in explain more. This person is ready. So it says it's a pleasure to work with you at this time. I wrote so fast. We make our connection with this golden ratio. And you would understand what he means. He's talking to you. And we make this a connect. We make our connection with the golden ratio. It is an universal equation. learn about this method to advance. So he's saying that you're wanting to connect with them, and I think the way that I connect with them is just very simply following the golden ratio. The golden ratio is a great thing. Actually, the golden mean. It was used and mentioned a lot in the Renaissance era, where I think then there were just enlightened people that had this knowledge about the golden ratio and the golden mean. Not much said about how it works, but it was mentioned. If you go in a cave and you draw a picture of something, and it's a guy with a spear, and there's a buffalo, and that's all the thing they can think of doing, the person that comes into the cave many years later is going to think, all right, this is whatever this hunting this animal was incredibly relevant enough that he wanted to have that immortalized with in the cave to keep it there to show someone the way, right? And I don't know how much digging you need to do to find out about the golden ratio, the golden mean, but using the same example, you're thinking to yourself, and at least I'm logically working this out, thinking, well, then this is at least what they want to show you. Then you'd have to figure out then how it works, right? How do you throw the spear, or where are these animals located? You know, there's a where they happen to draw a tree or a river or a place where he might be, where they might be roaming or whatever. Let me read it one more time. So we are genetically connected. Explain more. This person is ready. It is a pleasure to work with you at this time. We make our connection with the golden ratio. It's an universal equation. Learn more about this method to advance. So now I need that light on. Um, Pushing further than the golden mean means falling off and not the right way to advance and achieve. You will not miss. It will be apparent, and leaving and learning from this will advance you more. Yeah. So how do you use it? So he's saying is that pushing further than the golden mean means falling off and not the right way to advance and achieve. You will not miss, and it will be apparent in leaving and learning from this will advance you more. So there's a certain point where you ask the universe for a specific outcome, right? And that outcome will make itself manifest. And there's a feeling, there's a sense of relief where you feel like you don't have to um, see or continue to uh, petition for the request of what you're asking the universe for. And that will be, hmm, yeah, yeah. That will be, um, I'm losing my train of thought here, guys. That will be the moment where you'll know that your request will be achieved. So you're going to be pushing in a certain direction, and you say, I want that set of keys right there, right? And you'll be put in a place or a position where you will be kind of nudged to then go for that outcome that you want for yourself. So if you read a book about the golden ratio that mentions it, you are aligning with that knowledge, and then you're living your life through that knowledge so that you can just be fulfilled by it. So I'll give you an example, which is kind of what you're thinking about, what I might want to do to explain it more. You're talking to your brother, and you say to your brother, "Man, I wish I could get a car and it's stick shift and I could have fun with it and it's easy to ride and fun to ride and I can go here and I could go there. Then you're scrolling on your phone one day and you're looking at people that are selling stuff and you see this person that's selling a car and you just can't believe it. You see the price tag, it works. You see the color, whatever, right? But then you see that it's manual transmission and it's not too far away from you, driving distance, and you call the place and you send them a request and the guy actually calls you back and then you go see the car and you like what you see visually and you check it out as best as you're interested in it and next thing you know you're signing off papers and you're driving off with the thing and it's usually something that happens quickly or it's something that takes time for it to manifest but usually on the on this part of the this is your request, right? And this part here, personally for me, if this is the goal and this is just shooting it off where you're just like, oh, where is it? Did I miss what I wanted here? Did I miss my car? What's going on? In this area here, rarely you would go in a place like this. But usually just this section here is the preparation for you to achieve this goal, right? There's a period where you'd have to be ready, right? You get a financial windfall and it allows you to have the vehicle that you're asking for, or your specific request needs to be made manifest, and then you can just say, well, then you know what, you have to go. You can't be here anymore. We don't need you. Thank you for your service. Blah blah blah. So there's quite an interesting thing here going on. And that takes a lot of practice. And I don't mean to discourage you, but there's definitely a lot less wanting and a lot more visualizing your outcome than rather I want or I need. This is how I want to be, and not necessarily putting a date on it too, right? You're not putting it anywhere where you have to have whatever your request is specifically at that time. This is really just the Ashian, Ashian channeling that talks about channeling. That's really just a universal tool, universal equation to achieve that connection. So in our scenario, then you can say that I wanted to have a reason to make videos at some point, and then the situation presented itself where there was an individual willing to make that connection, so we can meet. I said meet. We can meet here and make the video work, make this video happen. So this is something that's made manifest for me. And if you've watched my videos, then you've seen that happen uh, in real life, right? Real time, which is the best way to to the best way to experience it instead of hearing somebody tell you a story about something that happened, right? So that's a good example that I've just given you now. All right, guys. So I'm making these videos shorter and more condensed, and I did say I would make more advanced stuff about just things that I think that everyone should know, and that I think we're ready to get there because we have this part ready. And you can move on to the next sections of the process. You just can't. Um, you got to know when you have to move forward, and this is a good time to move forward. And we've been doing this for quite some. We've been working on it to get it where it needs to be, so that we can all graduate and then move forward and do what it is that we have to do. Uh, I wish you guys the best. If you do start hearing channelings and stuff like that, the channeler, the person that receives the energy real time, is using their own words, trying the best as they can to understand. And sometimes they'll be hesitant to talk about specific subjects because they're fearful. how it might be interpreted by an angelic being, or whoever might be doing that kind of channeling. So think about that sometimes. If you feel they're repetitive and they're just not getting to where you need them to be, or they're not willing to be the way showers or pushing the boundaries of what the next level of success will be for the person is listening or reading the channeling or living it real life, right? Right now. So, okay, you guys enjoy the rest of the. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for watching.